In college, I used to be very lazy. I would never work out. All the teenage boys I knew, I would eat more than them. And I realized that I had this little belly fat that didn't go no matter how many crunches I did. I reached up to doing 1,000 crunches a day.
The two set of people. One who want to work out to be skinny, to look good. They don't want to pick up weights because उनको लगता है कि weight उठाएंगे तो muscle बन जाएगा और muscle is not good for women. And then there is a set of women now who are very sure that they want to be strong than just skinny.
And I just want to tell everyone, women cannot build bulky muscles. The moment you talk about weight with people who are leading into health problems, the first thing you hear is don't body shame me.
Yeah.
Right? So we stop talking about it, especially someone like me in my profession. I never comment on people's weight. I see my friends and family eating sugar, and I cringe inside for them because I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, why? A few years back, I would have looked down on supplementation. A few means maybe 10 years back, and said, oh, you're taking supplements, you can get it from your food. I eat my food, but the quality of food has become so bad. I do meet people who say I don't look my age. So things that I'm putting into my body are the right kind of things that I'm putting.
Once again, welcome to the Vital Edit, the podcast series of HK Vitals. In today's edit, we're joined by Yasmin Karachiwala, the celebrated fitness trainer. She has over 32 years of experience in the fitness industry. She's known for bringing the Pilates in India. She's trained a lot of celebrities, including our favorites Alia Bhatt, Deepika Padukone, Katrina Kaif, and many more. Welcome to our podcast, Yasmin.
Thank you so much.
Since you have a lot of centers across India now, and so many of people are now training under you in a way, or people who've trained by you are the ones who are coaching them. I want to talk to you about something which is very different, which is, let's say, probably Mumbai as a city where you were based off. You have a lot of celebrities coming to you. We know you've trained Deepika, you've trained Alia, you've trained Karina, and the list goes on and on. Uh, as a regular audience, what do you think is the difference in the kind of goals the celebrities come in with respect to the health versus, people who are not really the celebrities?
So I think the number one factor that sets them apart is they're always on a timeline, right? They're working for some role that they have a certain body type to look like, or they're doing a song where they're wearing clothes where they need to look really great and or athletic or very petite. It just depends on the role. That's what sets them apart, is because they're always working towards something more than their fitness level. But the reason we can work towards something is because when they don't have those deadlines, they still regularly work out and work on their fitness. So when they do get deadlines, it's very easy to tweak it. So when you see a body of Katrina in Chikni Chameli or, Dhoom, or you see Deepika in Happy New Year, or one of her other movies, or you see Alia, it's because they all through the year maintain their fitness levels and their goals. And then when you need to tweak them, that's when you tweak them. They are very dedicated, consistent, and true to their work. Even if they've had a 14-hour shift, they will still make it to the studio for at least 30 minutes to work out. They don't let go saying, oh God, I'm tired today, unless like it's a song that they're doing and they're really physically exhausted. But Katrina, even when she's been doing songs like she has, she's known for her dancing, whether it's Kala Chashma or Sheila Ki Jawani, she would still come to the studio sometime at midnight and say, yes, it's been exhausting, but my body needs to do something to restore it for the next day. So then I would design the workout where it was relaxing enough for her, but we were still getting work in.
Continuing on the same thought, um, when let's say Alia would have come to you postpartum, how do you think the body would have changed, and how would your, approach to somebody who's, um, gone through a certain life uh, stage
So a
change?
lot is different, and that's the reason we have to make sure that we are trained in pregnancy and postpartum. All my instructors are trained across all my studios. Because the body changes a lot. You've had a baby, during pregnancy, your center of gravity shifts, your mood swings happen, you get low back pain, you are nauseous, you have so many hormonal challenges that come your way. And we as instructors need to be able to deal with them. There are certain things you can do in your first trimester that you can't do in your second and third. And there are some things we leave only for the third trimester. So it's very, very individual with each person again. And once you've had the baby, you have to realize that you've produced a whole new human being in your body. And now that human being is no longer there. So imagine an elastic band. You stretch it and you keep it stretched for 9 months, okay, in the same position, right? And then you let it go. The elasticity is going to go, right? So if your band was this small and you've stretched it and you've stretched it, so you started stretching it little by little by little by little for 9 months, and you leave it, it's not going to be this small anymore. It's lost some of its elasticity. Now the beauty of the human body is that you can get it back, but you have to get it back with a lot of love and compassion and knowledge and strength, and strengthening without over strengthening, working out without harming the body. There are so many factors and at every stage, even if, like, say, Katrina and Alia, they're strong girls, but you have to realize that even strong girls' bodies have taken an internal beating. So though I know that they will be able to do 10 push-ups if I tell them, because it's in their system, right? I'm not going to get them to do that, right? You have to know how much to train somebody postpartum, at the same time how little to train them. So how much because you don't want to over exceed, and how little because you want to be gentle and take baby steps with them. And at the same time, after the workout, they need to feel good. They need to feel worked out. They need to feel like, oh, I'm getting my strength back and empowered. So, a lot of people who work out postpartum don't suffer as much from postpartum depression because your feel good hormones get activated.
So, Yasmin, moving on to the next part, which is that stress and sleep are two things which also are very critical to the output of the training that you do. Uh, there's a lot of emphasis on recovery and sleep as a key mode to recover your body. And the second piece is on the stress. Um, so, when people are under tremendous stress, they typically take two mechanisms to cope up. One, they will do yoga, meditate, talk to people, release those stress hormones. The second, take the beating of it. And how do these two different mechanisms of taking stress or working on stress work with in tandem when you're exercising, and um,
So, that's where the
and what do
beauty
you
of
suggest to people who do you work out with them and understand their mental state, and yeah.
we can tell mental state when we're working with people, especially in Pilates, because their body tells you a different story, right? And the body doesn't lie. So we can see how the shoulders get tight, how their trapezius, their neck gets immobile, they're so tight. And we can see, like, there is a very simple exercise I do, which is the chin glides. And I can see that the chin doesn't glide at all, it's stuck. So we work on that. Plus, Pilates has a lot of breath associated with every exercise. So if you hear any Pilates instructor instructing, it's always inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. So we're constantly playing with breath. And by doing that, we're oxygenating the body, not just with deep, long breaths, but long breaths, energizing breaths, active breath. So whenever you energize a body, you're pumping it in with oxygen. When you pump your body in with oxygen, your stress hormones come down, right? Because you release endorphins, which are feel good hormones. The feel good hormones are going to battle with your stress hormones, and over a period of time, your exercise is going to be your meditation, right? And sleep is really important. We were having this conversation earlier, and I think at least 7 hours of sleep is required by everybody, if not eight.
So, Yasmin, which is the most challenging transformation that you worked on in the recent few years?
So, if you had asked me this question about 4 years back, I would have told you about one of my Katrina, Alia, Deepika transformation. But my most recent transformation, I think, I don't know if I would call it challenging as much as satisfying, is of Helen, the yesteryear's dancer, actor Helen. She's
How old is she?
85
Yeah. Okay.
now,
Wow.
and I'm very close to the Khan family.
Okay.
And every time I used to meet Helen Auntie, I would be like, Auntie, when are you coming for Pilates? Because before lockdown, she used to come and do like a little bit of Pilates. And then after lockdown, she never got the energy to come back. And every time there was a birthday or there was Diwali or Eid or, one of the functions, I would meet her. And I'm like, Helen Auntie, when are you coming back? Because I was seeing her movement deteriorating,
Mm.
right? She was using a stick to walk, and it became so I think embarrassing for her that then she would see me at parties and like cover her face and say, I don't want to even see you, darling. And I said, no, Helen Auntie, don't. Like, I'm not going to ask you this question. You come when you're ready
Mm.
and know that we're always there. So she calls me one day and she's like, I'm ready. And
Wow.
she came into the studio with her cane. Okay, could barely walk, was like because of her weight and because of inactivity, her muscles had atrophied. And so we started training Helen Auntie and doing Pilates with her. Cut to 3, 4 months later, she's not walking with a cane. She can climb up and down stairs.
Wow.
She bends, like I have a little puppy, so she bends over to play with the puppy. So much so that sometimes I'm like, Auntie, don't bend so much. And she's like, I can. So it's like literally she jumps on the trampoline. She sits and stands without support. I just did a reel on her recently on her transformation. And I think that for me is better than any of the other transformations I've done.
So, what do you think worked out for her in that age and in that case?
Pilates.
And maybe a
It's
mental determination?
Pilates, and because of the Pilates and because she enjoyed what she did, she kept coming every single day. She would book a class every day unless she was unwell, but she just kept coming. And it's such a beautiful form of exercise that you can make it so gentle for someone who needs it and super challenging for an athlete. So I think, yeah, that's my success story.
So, Yasmin, there are a lot of people in the country who are not able to access, you know, the equipments.
Right.
चाहे वो पिलाटेस हो, चाहे वो जिम हो, वेट्स हो. So, what kind of a workout would you suggest to somebody
So
who's, kind of cannot step out of home for whatever reasons?
मगर आज के दिन में आपको यूट्यूब पे सब कुछ मिल जाता है। इनफैक्ट आई हैव अ यूट्यूब चैनल जहाँ पे बहुत सारे वर्कआउट्स जो भी मैंने लॉकडाउन में किए 1-1 घंटे के वर्कआउट्स, आई हैव रिकॉर्डेड देम एंड पुट देम ऑन माय यूट्यूब चैनल। ऑल्सो मैंने 20-minute workout बनाए हैं, 10 minutes workout बनाए हैं. I wrote a book which came out last year before last, which is called The Perfect 10. और उसमें आपको 10 minute के workout मिलेंगे that you can do anywhere without any equipment. And my book has a QR code. तो जब आप QR code scan करते हो, it takes you to the library of the exercises where you can work out with me. Having said that, when you go on YouTube or any platform, make sure कि जो exercise आप देख रहे हो वो आपकी body के लिए appropriate हो. Because everybody is putting something out, and you need to make sure that there's authenticity in whatever you're watching.
Since you work with a lot of people, how do you think the bodies and the exercises therefore should vary between the 30s, 40s, and the 50s?
I think if you have already been working out, um, your workouts don't really change. You just become more mindful as you grow older. So I think I do more weights now in my 50s than I did in my 30s. I think my form is better in my 50s than it was in my 30s. In my 50s, I feel like I do exercises that nourish my body. In my 30s, I was doing exercises that would break my body, right? Because I had the luxury of that. Your repair becomes slower as you age. With every decade, you lose bone density and muscle mass. So you have to be aware that your protein intake goes up, you're eating healthier, you need to now start cutting out food that's going to damage and hurt you, and you need to work out mindfully.
There is this set of people, the two set of people. One who want to work out to be skinny, to look good. They don't want to pick up weights because उनको लगता है कि weight उठाएंगे तो muscle बन जाएगा और muscle is not good for women, particularly women I'm talking, right? And then there is a set of women now who are very sure that they want to be strong than just skinny, and they can be healthy and they can be fit if they pick up weights at the right time. So
Right.
do you see these two kind of mental setups when people come
All
to
the
you?
time. All the
Okay.
time. And I just want to tell everyone, women cannot build bulky muscles. Our genes will not allow us, our makeup will not allow us, not the makeup on the face, the makeup of your body. For us to build muscle like men, we need to take shots of testosterone because our bodies produce low testosterone and more estrogen. And the estrogen doesn't allow us to have bodies like men. What it does for women, lifting weights, it makes you stronger. It builds muscle, which is going to support your bones as you age. It's going to slow down your aging process, and it's going to make you look really, really good. And if you don't want to do any of these things, then don't lift the weights.
So Yasmin, let's talk about the pandemic and the obesity. India as a country has the second highest obesity in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Almost 1 out of 4 people in the country are obese. That means they're overweight. एक तरफ से हमें पता है कि खाना ज़रूरी है, मगर किस हद तक खाना चाहिए, how much does the body need is also important. And the second side of this is, Yasmin, that people think that obesity is okay. Or, let's say they become comfortable about their bodies post a period of time. Just to give you an example, one of the things that people around me talk about is, yes, suddenly when I touched 30, my metabolism changed. And I'm now going to accept it that, losing weight is going to be hard, or fitness is going to be hard, or I'm going to have far more sore muscles than I ever had in my 20s. While those things are right, but then we kind of also start using them as an excuse to stay fit. So what is your view about this?
So, first of all, let's just say we're not body shaming anyone,
Yeah,
right? It's not
absolutely.
body shaming. We're talking about obesity that can lead to health problems later on.
Yes.
Okay. If you're a fit person and you're overweight, that's fine, because what's more important, what we're talking about is fitness and not weight. We're talking about weight, and I'm saying this again and again because, when the moment you talk about weight with people who are leading into health problems, the first thing you hear is don't body shame me.
Yeah.
Right? So we stop talking about it, especially someone like me in my profession. I never comment on people's weight. It's my friends and my family who, if I'm seeing them, it affecting their health, then I'll say something. But even to them, I will never say, oh, yes. And I see my friends and family eating sugar, and I cringe inside for them because I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, why? It really pains me to see people eating and making bad food choices. So what's important to understand is that as we age, it's going to get even more difficult for us to lose the weight, right? Our metabolism is going to fall. But I'm 55 this week, and my metabolism is great because I look after my health. I have a lot of, and of course, I'm a fitness instructor. If my metabolism wasn't great, it would be a shame to me. But I have a lot of my friends and family who are in their 50s and who work out regularly, and their metabolisms are great because they take care of themselves. They work out, they watch what they eat clean, and supplementation. A few years back, I would have looked down on supplementation. A few means maybe 10 years back, and said, oh, you're taking supplements, you can get it from your food. I eat my food. But the quality of food has become so bad, right? There are pesticides, there's hormones, there's adulteration in milk and stuff like that. We don't know where our country is not an organic country. If you have a 1 acre farm and a small part of your farm grows organic vegetables, your entire farm gets an organic certificate. So we don't know the food we're eating. So the nutrients that our body would earlier get in my grandparents or even in my parents' time is something that we are getting deprived of. That's why you see children now getting autoimmune diseases. They're getting so many skin problems because nutrition is not what it used to be. So at least in that time, take care of what's in your control.
Yeah.
Right? These are not in your control. The pesticides, this is not in our control unless we eat what we plant or sow. And in country, in cities like Mumbai and Delhi, at least in Delhi, you'll have bigger spaces. In Mumbai, it's impossible. So that's when and if you're supplementing, make sure you're choosing the right supplements. Don't just go on a supplement because your friends are doing it, because all of us have individual needs, right? Your needs and my needs are going to be completely different, starting from our age to our metabolic health to different things, our genes, what's missing, our food type. So I think it's so important for people to internalize and see what's missing. For people to say, I'm inactive because I don't move.
Yeah.
They say, I can't move because I'm obese.
Hmm.
But you're obese because you didn't move right.
Yeah.
Of course, having said that, it's genetic for some people. But that doesn't mean that you can't lead a healthy life and take care of what you have in your power, right? Even if you're obese, it's in your power to do something about it. Take small steps or large ones, but take the steps and do something for your health. We see so many young people dying, especially after COVID. Somebody who's 42 has passed away, somebody who's 50 has passed away, somebody who's just 45. I mean, it's crazy. And some very fit people too. एंड फिर उस पर चर्चा होती है, अरे वो तो सप्लीमेंट्स खाते थे, एंड दैट्स let's take a step back. Let's look at our reality and let's live in our reality. Let's do the best for ourselves. We can we can cross the street and be hit by a car, and that's the end of us, right? We're all going to die at the time that's meant for us to die. But till we die, let's look after ourselves, our bodies, because it's the only home you're going to live in permanently.
So, Yasmin, we look at the last 4 to 5 years, there's been a lot of openness for the audience towards supplements. जब हमने अपना ब्रांड शुरू किया था, मुझे याद है उस टाइम पे लोग बोलते थे सप्लीमेंट्स डॉक्टर के पूछने से ही लेंगे. एंड देन कोविड हैपेंड. ऑफ कोर्स दैट ओपन पीपल टू ट्राइंग अ लॉट ऑफ मल्टीविटामिन्स, इम्यूनिटी
Right.
सप्लीमेंट्स. मगर आज बहुत डिफरेंट है द सिनारियो. There's a lot of content people have an access to when it comes to supplements. They're also open to trying things internally than doing things externally for their health. And there's been a change from going to just the doctors to now also consulting with the fitness trainers. Which supplements should I involve in my diet?
Right.
How do I recover? What do I do? How does my skin look good? My hair look good? You said you're turning 55.
Yeah.
You don't look like, I think maybe I would be wrong to say, but a day or 40.
Oh, thank you. I
You
love you.
glow. But what does your supplement stack look like? You know, and
So-
how has that changed and evolved
Yeah.
over the last
Firstly,
few years?
Neha, I eat very clean.
Yeah.
And I don't eat clean as a chore.
Hmm.
I love eating clean. I love munching on my vegetables, and I like to I like different kind of flavors in my mouth. So, not your pakoras and your bhajiyas, but like different kinds of fruit vegetables, different kinds of even like I'll eat brown rice, I'll eat red rice, I'll eat jasmine rice, I eat quinoa. So I like to taste like every day of the week has something different, because it just makes it so much more exciting. I eat very, very healthy food, but I make my healthy food very, very nutritious and tasty. My supplements are I take a turmeric supplement every morning
Okay.
for my immunity. It's got a pinch of pepperine. I take vitamin C. I take B complex. I have omega 3. I do Evian. I do magnesium. Yeah, and primrose.
And you said collagen.
And collagen. Yeah, collagen is like my first thing in the morning that I
Okay.
do.
So do you take that like an empty stomach?
Yeah. Isn't that how it's supposed to be taken?
Any time of the day?
Yeah, but I like to take it first thing so I don't forget.
And how long have you been taking collagen?
So I have actually been taking it for over 3 years.
Okay.
Regularly every
Okay.
morning, and yours since the time you've started. So I was really happy when you guys did.
And what changes, while of course you like, it just looks like you've got flawless skin, but what changes do you feel when you started taking collagen? Did you feel in your body?
I can't pinpoint the
Hmm.
change that I felt, but like I do meet people who say I don't look my age.
Hmm.
So that means I'm doing something right? I mean, as in things that I'm putting into my body are the right kind of things that I'm putting. So I feel like that's what, the skin looks more radiant, it looks fresher. I don't know how much younger I can look at 55, but I would like to believe that I look better than 55. Um, and at the same time, I'm very happy to be a 55-year-old person, because I feel like somebody says, oh, but the 30s were like, and my 50s are like painful. I don't have any of that. I love where I'm at. I've lived that life. I've raised two boys. They're 27 and 25. I'm at a very good stage in my life, and I think I'm doing things right.
Yeah. So, Yasmin, your skin is glowing, it's hydrated, it's radiant. So, how has your skin routine or skin journey changed over the years? And what is that one secret for such a glowing skin?
Honestly, there's no one secret. And I think as we grow older, we need to take care of our skin, not just externally, but internally too. What we put into our food, what we put into our body in terms of food, what we drink. There are three very important things that I stay away from. One is sugar. uh, Whatever breakups you see, whatever health problems I feel come up are because of sugar. Secondly, is including protein into my diet. I make sure that every meal of mine has a component of protein. And by protein, I just don't mean chicken and fish, I mean even your vegetables or your collagen that you have every day, which is so important for you. And thirdly, I stay away from dairy. I don't do dairy. I do dairy if I have a cow in my backyard and I can milk the cow and drink the milk immediately, because I feel like the milk now is so adulterated. We don't know where it's coming from. So unless it's organic, I don't do dairy at all. So Neha, I believe like what protein is to your muscles, collagen is to your skin. I've been consuming collagen for many years now, almost over 3 years. And I used to get my collagen from the US or Dubai and, always import it. But since you guys launched last year and reached out to me, I've switched to your collagen. And what I love about it the most is, of course, that it's in India and easily available, but also that it has no sugar. And like I told you earlier, I don't do sugar at all. So I love it. And because I have been so consistent with my collagen for so many years, the results are there to see. You can't see results in 1 month. So if you're using collagen for, say, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, you won't. It takes at least 2 months for you to start seeing some kind of shift in the way your skin looks and feels. And that's how collagen works. So I think it's really important for everybody to include it in their daily life.
So I think really thankful for you to say such good words about a collagen throughout our podcast. But I also want to kind of take a note of how at HK Vitals we've been really working hard on understanding Indian skin
Right.
and skincare, and how Indians love flavors into their diet. They want to kind of have those shakes and they want to drink good stuff. But it's also important to, of course, ensure that we're not adding sugar to make that
Exactly.
happen. So while all of this, when we created our collagen, we also ensured that apart from marine collagen peptides, we added some very nourishing skin ingredients like vitamin C, vitamin
Right.
E, hyaluronic
Oh,
acid.
yeah, of
So
course.
our HK Vital Skin Radiance Collagen has all these ingredients. We went further ahead. We got them tested through a third party, and the results were phenomenal. So as you rightly said, that not just one day or 1 month, but over a period of 60 consistent days of usage, the results were really good. Almost 40% reduction in fine lines and wrinkles.
Wow.
And this is a third party which is doing test over people. We're not controlling against a placebo. And that really encouraged us to go deeper into the space of skin and skin issues and skin aging. And then we went on to understand what do people want. And we realized there were a lot of vegetarian alternatives there,
Right.
but they were builders, right? And so we worked in our R&D and we created a vegetarian collagen for the first time in the country, which had the same amino acid profile as that of marine collagen.
Wow.
So even the vegetarians today have a choice of having
That's
collagen.
amazing.
We went step ahead again to understand, how men's skin is different from women's skin. This also kind of germinated because almost half of the Skin Radiance collagen sales was coming from men. And that was surprising. Yes, it was surprising to us as well. So we went and we did a study over 3,000 men and tried to understand their skin issues to realize, apart from aging, which of course is deferred in the case of males, uh, issues like open pores and pigmentation and under eyes are significantly more pronounced than women at an earlier age. And that's when we worked again in a lab to add more ingredients and different ingredients and created the first of its kind product in the India called Collagen for Men.
Oh, wow. So I was
Yeah.
gonna say to you, Neha, while you were talking, that that's the reason you've been telling me through our podcast today. I love the way your skin looks because I've switched to HK Vital since like over a year now. But I don't want to say that, but I want to say, can I have that collagen for men, for my boys and my husband?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'll just give it to you. So, Yasmin, what does your skincare routine look like? What do you do in the mornings? What do you do in the evenings? And what all
So
products do you
the
use?
first thing I do in the morning is cleanse my face. I use a very gentle face wash. Post that, I put serum. Then I put my eye cream. Uh, Moisturizing the eyes is a total must for me. Then I put my moisturizer. Top it up with my sunblock. Whether I'm going to be in the house, whether I'm going out, whether it's a rainy day, whether it's a sunny day, whether it's a cold day, whether I'm India, where anywhere in the world, sunblock is a must. Sometimes, like on a Sunday, I wake up and the first thing I do is my ice bath. But I don't put moisturizer and stuff. I wash my face, I put sunblock, and I go to my ice bath. So for me, sunblock is a total must have, because also as we age, our skin becomes very, very sensitive to the sun, and pigmentation comes in a second. So what my skin could do at 20, it cannot do at 50. So I make sure that I take care of it. And then, of course, I go work out or do whatever my thing is. In the night, I will cleanse my face with a makeup remover or a cleanser. And then I wash it. I put my serum, I put my eye cream, and I put a night cream, which is a little heavier than the day cream, because the night is when your body has the time to absorb. And that's it. That's my skincare routine. It's simple, it's very effective. I've been doing it for years, and it's very easy to do. And in the morning, the one thing I do, as even before I start my skincare routine, is have my collagen. So I do my collagen, and then I go wash my face and do my whole skincare
So is that the
routine.
first thing that you take in when you get
My
up?
collagen is the first thing I take in, because I feel like as my day starts, I'll forget it.
Yeah. So that's your
Because it's
habit.
like mixing it in water and drinking it. So my hot water comes and my collagen comes together in the morning. So first I'll have my collagen, and then I have my hot water.
Okay. So Yasmin, I want to introduce a new product to you. This is called the HK Vital Skin Radiance Pro.
Mm-hmm.
So this also comes from a lot of scientific understanding and a consumer understanding. So
Okay.
there are a lot of our consumers, who have become very open to supplements. Collagen भी ले रहे हैं, glutathione भी ले रहे हैं, biotin भी ले रहे हैं, skin issues भी हैं, hair issues भी हैं, pigmentation issues हैं, aging हो रही है, and then they want to take up a stack of a lot of supplements together. Then we said, let's take a pause and try to work on a product which actually solves for many problems
Wow.
and builds skin health from within. And this is when we put 12 powerful ingredients together in the absolute right amount and quantity which is required by the body to recover from those problems. And this is the result. So this product has collagen, glutathione, hyaluronic acid, biotin, zinc, and 6 micronutrients, and
Wow.
works phenomenally well. And I would love that you try this.
I would love to. Can I first see it? At
Yes.
least I'm dying to see it since you've started speaking about it. Wow. I'm definitely trying this. First thing in the morning.
Whatever suits you again.
So if I take this, then I have to stop taking the collagen.
Yeah, you use
Then just
sufficing
this.
collagen, and you're taking much more. So you
Yeah,
might
this is my
actually
new
stop a
best
lot
friend.
of.
So do you think if I meet you next time, you'll think I even look younger than now?
I think you're always going to look young.
Okay, love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excited. Thank you.
So Yasmin, there's a lot of conversation around menopause and perimenopause. Now that you're 55, assuming you're on the other side of it.
Totally. Happily.
So how has the journey been for you for those years? And what did you do to manage that journey?
Honestly, very smooth. I didn't go through perimenopause symbolically, like I didn't even know. I used to get my periods very, very, very regularly. It was a 28-day cycle, and then one day I suddenly didn't get it. And I spotted a little bit, and then I didn't get it. And then I got it again. I spotted again after 7 months. And I said, oh my God, it's back. And I spotted for like 2 days, and then it was gone. I didn't have any cramps. I didn't have
Wow.
any mood swings. I think so. Ask my husband, he might have a different story. But it was very, very smooth. I mean, I literally didn't even know. And I think that's because of my nutrition and my lifestyle and my exercise. And I think even my attitude. right? I wasn't dreading it. I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't running away from it. I was like, here I am, come hit me. And I
But it
think
didn't hit
that
you.
it didn't hit me, it just passed by. And I think that's what really, really helped, because I didn't even get my hot flushes. And you know how you wake up in the night, maybe once or twice I did wake up in the night feeling a bit sweaty, but not like drenched in sweat where I had to go and change my clothes or sleep in freezing temperatures. Nothing. And I just want to say that, not to take away from people who suffer, because it's really hard on a lot of
Yeah.
people, but for the people who haven't yet reached it, change your lifestyle. Start eating better. Start cutting down on your sugar. Eat more healthier, foods. Choose more healthier foods. Stop eating packaged foods. Stop eating foods with too many preservatives. In fact, eat your fruits and vegetables, eat nuts. Start fueling your body to be able to handle the challenges that are going to come with peri and postmenopause.
So Yasmin, let's talk about your fitness journey. When do you start? When did you start your fitness journey?
Oh
At
my
what
God,
age?
it's so long back. I started my fitness journey almost 33 years back, or more than 33 years back. I was in college and I used to be very lazy. I would never work out. I would eat more than all the boys I knew. All the teenage boys I knew, I would eat more than them. I would finish my meal and finish theirs as well. So I was like this, and I was a total tomboy. I used to like do all kinds of boy things with them. And, I thought maybe God had created me in a girl's body, but I'm actually meant to be a boy. Literally, I used to think that. And my best friend, when I would think I was 18, fell in love with this boy and she wanted to look good. So there was a health club right next to our house, which has just started this concept of health club. This was in the 80s, okay, in the 1980s. And she said, come on, come join the health club with me. And I said, why? I don't want to go to a health club. I don't even know what to do in a health club. And she said, you don't do any kind of workout. You don't move. You eat so much. And you just come with me, because her thing was that they were giving a deal, two for the price of one, right? And she wanted somebody to split it with. And I said, no, I'm not interested in moving. I'm very happy. I can still beat all the boys at everything. And she said, no, come with me if you're my best friend, if you love me. So there I went with her to this health club. It had sauna, steam, jacuzzi, first time in India. I was very interested. She said, no, you have to work out first. So she knew what she wanted to do because she had a motive. I had none. I went and I saw these people dancing in this aerobic room. And I thought I was a great dancer. So I went to started dancing with them, only to realize it was coordinated aerobic class. And I had no coordination skills in me. So where people were going right, I was going left. Where people were doing knee ups, I was kicking people. They looked at me with frustration through the class. After the class, they looked at me and said, why have you even come here? I was so embarrassed and hurt by that I kept going back to the class and doing it and standing right in front. And they would tell me, hey, just stand at the back. You don't even know what you're doing. And I was like, no, I have to look in the mirror and figure out what I'm doing. A couple of months later, the instructor was sick. So she called me and she said, can you go teach my class? So I was like, what do you mean teach your class? I don't know how to teach. She said, just go put on whichever playlist you want. She had 5 different playlists of 10 songs each. She said, play any of the playlist and do whatever you remember. Okay, I went, I played a playlist, and to my astonishment, I knew the entire routine, all 10 songs. And I think I was so surprised while I was doing it, the words, like the exercises were coming to me, the coordination was coming to me, what she used to say in class was coming to me. Somewhere my subconscious had picked it up. I was cueing people. I was astonished. The people who were following me almost shocked. And then they said after class, when did you learn this? What happened to you? I said, nothing, I never learned it. And they said, you're joking and whatever. Anyway, this instructor was sick because she was pregnant and she used to teach an afternoon class. So she said, will you come after college and teach my afternoon class? And I said, yeah, I'll pay you. It's like, wow, at 18, make money. In those days, it was unheard of. We were, only having fun and going to college. And I said, okay, I would come back from college, teach afternoon class, make some pocket money, and then go out and have fun with my friends. And I completed college and I was going to America. This was in 1991. I was 21 then. And the same instructor said, you're going to America. I was going to teach at a summer camp for 3 months. And she said, why don't you go get certified? You have a flair for it. And I said, are you crazy? I want to be a teacher. I want to be a kindergarten teacher. That's what I'm going to do after I come back. Join Sophia College, which is in Bombay, and do a year-long course in how to teach children, early childhood care and education. And she said, just go and do this. So I said, okay, if you're telling me, I'll just go do it. How difficult can it be? I taught a class without doing any training. I got the rudest shock of my life when I went to do this course because you needed to know anatomy. I was an economics student. I didn't know any anatomy. It took me 3 days to learn gastrocnemius, which is one of your calf muscles. And the passing percentage is 80. I got 75.
Oh.
So I failed. And I said, I mean, I was shocked, because in college I would not study and pass. So this was like a shock to me.
Yeah.
And anyway, I think for me, whenever I have failure, it kinds of something in my wiring goes on alert, and then I have to prove myself to myself. So I went back and did the exam again and passed. And then I was teaching kids in the morning and training in the evening. So that was my group fitness classes. I couldn't do the aerobic dance. So I used to do step aerobic classes. They became quite popular, in the early 90s. Like everyone wanted to go to Yasmin step aerobic classes. And that's how my fitness journey started. Until I had my first son, and then I realized that I used to go to school and teach other people's children, use up all my patience, and then come home and had no patience for my own child. So then I stopped teaching and I did my second certification, which was personal trainer.
Okay.
And then I became a personal trainer and the journey went on.
And while all this while you were training and you were teaching and coaching people with fitness, when did Pilates happen?
So after I had both my sons, so I became a personal trainer, then I got pregnant, had my second son, was still doing personal training. By then I had started I had started calling people to my house
Okay.
instead of going to theirs because I hated it. And in the 90s, this was early 2000 now, people would call you home if you were a personal trainer or meet you in the gym. And I was like, no, you come to my house. And they were like, who are you? And why are you calling us to your house? So I said, see, you don't have equipment in your house. I'll buy the equipment. You don't have to invest. You come to my house. At home, the sabzi wala comes, the dhobi comes, the bai comes, the driver comes. Your husband's calling, your kids are calling. In my house, nobody will disturb you for an hour. So I created a little studio in my guest room and I started calling people home. My kids were by then 1 and 3, and it served me because then I could be a home mom and still work, right? And I used to call very few select people that I knew. And that's how the journey began, training people at home. And then I realized that I was doing well. It moved from like 4 people that I would train at home to 10 to 14 to 20. And I realized that I had this little belly fat that didn't go no matter how many crunches I did. I reached up to doing 1,000 crunches a day and it just wouldn't go. My stomach muscles would become stronger, so they would push out because I'd built muscle, so the fat would show even more. And I went online and I researched what can I do to get rid of belly fat, and Pilates came up. And I said, what is this Pilates? I didn't even know how to pronounce it. So I found out, like, went on net, which is the best studio to learn Pilates, and the studio in California popped up in LA. So I called them up and I said, I want to come. How long is your course? I want to do mat Pilates. And they were like, okay, what's your experience in Pilates? And I was like, none. They said to be a Pilates instructor, you have to be practicing Pilates for at least a year. I said, well, nobody in my country teaches Pilates. And I'm a personal trainer. I've done yoga, I've done power yoga. They said, no, we're very clear. I said, listen, there's nobody. They said, okay, we'll send you material, do it at home, practice Pilates, and call us back. They sent me the material. I tried it. A roll up looked like a sit up. A chest lift looked like a crunch. I was like, why are they talking rubbish? I do all these exercises, right? A rollover looked like halasana and yoga. So I called them back and I said, I do all of this. And they said, listen, we just want to tell you that people who've done Pilates for a year as a student come to our course and they cannot finish it because it's so hard and intense. I told you my wiring my antenna go up when someone says I can't do something, right? I said, no, I can. So I bought a ticket. This was, I think, in 2005. I bought a ticket to the US. I went there, didn't know anybody, uh, rented a studio apartment, which was, they never gave short-term lease. I don't know how I found it. Joined the studio. Um, Now looking back, it was not an easy studio that I joined. Like, because I Googled the best studio, it was really hard. And my instructor who taught me was like, he was my way or the highway. And I went and I did it. And I remember I was sitting in my first Pilates mat training instruction, and I was so jet lagged. And I finished it, and the way they had it is the first half of the day was mat and the second half of the day was equipment. So I stayed back and I looked at the first day I didn't stay back because I was jet lagged. I wanted to go home and sleep. The second day I stayed back and I looked at the equipment, and I think it was love at first sight. I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, I want to do this. So I spoke to the instructor and I said, can I do this course as well? And he said, you already missed 2 days. It's very hard. Plus, this course is 3 months. You've signed up for 1.5 months. Will you be able to stay? And I said, no, I have kids back home. My in-laws had come home to live with my children. And I said, I need to go back. But can I come back for the second half later? He said, yeah, sure. So I called my in-laws in Mumbai and my husband, and I said, I really want to do this. And my father-in-law said, beta, do whatever you want to do. We are here. And I thought that kind of support from your in-laws is so priceless. So I don't think I would have been who I am if I didn't have a great family and some amazing support, not only from my parents,
Yeah, of course.
but from the family I married into. And so I did my Pilates training. I bought one reformer with a tower and one Wunda chair, the cheapest that there was, and brought it back to India. And when you get it back to India, you pay double.
Yeah,
I
custom.
had to come back, and for 6 months, I had to practice and practice because this was something completely new. Went back to America in November, December was the second half of the training. Completed my training, and I remember the first day when you go back to your training, you have to give an exam.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's like the half term exam, and I was so scared because I was doing this training but nobody was watching me. And in those days you didn't have Zoom, so you couldn't
Yeah.
like get your instructor to give you PTs at home or whatever. But anyway, I did well, and he was very happy. He said, "You've been putting in the work." I said, "Yeah, I've been putting in 6 hours a day of just practicing Pilates."
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
and yeah, so 6 months, 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's how much I practiced before I went back. Finished it, and most people when they finish their Pilates training, they take about 3 months to give the exam because it's practical. You have to know the breath, you have to know the movement, you have to know the springs, you have to know the setup, everything. And I was leaving in 4 days. So I told my instructor, can I, test out in 2 days? And after my theory, and he said, nobody does this. I said, well, I don't have a choice. I can't come back after 3 months all the way to LA to give my exam. It's not, I can't leave a third time and tell my in-laws. So he was like, okay, but we won't be kind to you because you're taking Pilates to your country. And I passed. And I did really well, and they were very happy. And that's how my journey in Pilates began. I came back, and I remember people used to ask me, but what is Pilates and why have you spent so much time? And I'd say, just come and try it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, you can't explain to a person what Pilates is, and you do Pilates, so
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
that unless you do it, you don't know the beauty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Yasmin, since you started doing Pilates, have you gone back to any other form of exercises or
Of
routines?
course, I do everything. I do Pilates, I do strength training, I do functional training, I do cardiovascular exercises, I do trampoline. So I do a mix of everything. It's just that my Pilates is at least 3 times a week.
So, Yasmin, we get into the last part of our podcast. We'll do a rapid fire with you.
Okay,
And whatever
let's go.
comes first in your mind, just share it with
Hmm.
us. So, one workout you swear by:
Pilates,
morning workout or evening sweat?
whichever works best for you.
Your go to pre workout snack?
A banana with almonds.
What's that one fitness trend you think is overrated?
I don't know. Really, I think it's whatever each one likes.
Dumbbells, resistant bands, or body weight?
All three.
One celebrity who surprises you with their discipline.
Katrina.
What about fitness annoys you the most?
Bad form.
What's that one myth about Pilates that you want to bust?
It's only for women.
If you had 10 minutes to work out, what would you do?
I would do a little bit of everything. I would do legs, I would do upper body, I would do push, I would do pull, I'd do a little bit of cardio, and I would have fun.
Post workout indulgence you love guilt free.
Protein shake.
One
Honestly, like I finish my workout and I'm looking for my protein shake. I love it.
one mantra you live by in fitness and in life.
Be fit because you deserve it.
So thank you, Yasmin, for coming here and being a part of our podcast. It was a great discussion. There's so much to see in you, learn from you, and really admire the discipline that you live by. And I think it's really encouraging. It encourages me to make sure that I don't miss that one day and sleep more and just get down to a workout, however small or long it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was absolutely my pleasure being here.